And good morning, true believers. Welcome to another episode of Jedi Academy. I'm Ranger J 1999, part of the RSG crew. And welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Everybody's got their coffee, their croissants. What is the Jedi Academy? Well, that's where we bring in the best and brightest of YouTube and Game Changers and wherever else we can find on the street. And of course, we throw in the mental damage people that is the RSG crew, which includes myself. And we just take all your questions. So this is straight up a Q&A show for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. So if you have a question, the way it works is you put it in the chat. Dr. Finn, who's here today. Dr. Finn Meswim, what's going on?
Howdy.
Howdy.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I know you are, but you've been putting in a lot of good hours.
And I just came from the gym.
And he just came from the gym, so that's a good sore and tired.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's a good feeling of tired, unlike the rest of the week where Grande's been killing me. So.
Let's not relive that. But if you have a question, make sure you put your question in the form of a question. The best way is just to put like question in front of it. If you just put a statement in there that you meant to be as a question, we're not going to scoop it up because we're not going to sit there and try to determine. We get a lot of questions, so make sure you have the word question or it's in the form of a question, and we will make sure that those get scooped up, and that's what Dr. Finn is doing right now. Let's introduce the rest of the panel that's with us today. We've got first, all the way from the pond. He's been joining us for all our lunch streams. The father with the sweary daughters, the one and only Mike Hunt.
Good afternoon and good morning and good evening, depending on where you are in the world.
Right? It's a worldwide event for us now.
It is. That's quite
pretty amazing. How are you doing, Mike? Everything good?
Yes, everything's good. I've had my brekkie, I've got my coffee, and yeah, I've already done the Forest Moon as well.
Right.
So tick, tick, tick.
Yep. Also joining us, just about ready to leave, but the one and only King Felix, serving the United States Army honorably over there in Kaylan. King Felix.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, night, almost morning to everyone.
Okay.
I'm about to leave. We got a couple more weeks, and I'd just like to say you're welcome for me ending the war between North and South. I am accepting donations for my service. Thank you very much.
In the form of Bosk shards?
I would love Bosk shards.
Yeah.
Or hugs and kisses. Just don't tell his wife. Especially if you're a guy. Also joining us, you just heard her voice, all the way from Canada, up there drinking maple syrup and cutting down trees and living the lumberjack life. T Money G.
Morning. How's it going?
How's it going? You sound so perky this morning. Did you drink coffee?
I have just rolled out of bed, and I have to make a special effort to sound perky at this moment. I'll get actually. Truly, see, it's starting to fall apart there, but I'm going to Comic-Con today, so I just laid out my rainbow unicorn dress and my crinolines, and I'm like, after this, I'm gonna dash and get dressed and jump in the car with my kid, and we're going to Calgary Comic-Con. So that's
pretty amazing. And what are you guys dressing up as?
Well, he'll be full on Jedi, and then I'm just gonna be weird. I was gonna sew a Jedi cape and go as this weird rainbow. I'm a weirdo, so I don't tend to go as anything regular. But I'm just gonna put on all my weirdest clothes and go. So I'll be wearing shin high bright blue Converse and my this unicorn dress. I cannot underestimate how fabulous it is. It's a fabulous thing. So
okay, we'll have to take a photo, and now we'll show it on the RSG Mature channel tonight and stuff. Also joining us, last but not least, is Xylo Takedown. Xylo, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on with you, partner? As the bed.
Not much. Just playing some Xbox. Today's baby day for me.
Yes, I did. I went solo yesterday. I was kicking Yes. You missed the other day, Zyla. I was slaughtering people with Vader. I had like 41 kills and stuff. I was just murdering people.
Yeah, I saw that. Vader's
I love
beast,
it.
man.
I
Love
love
me some
it.
Vader on Battlefront.
Yeah, Vader's just so satisfying. You choke him, you throw him. You know, it's just, he's such a beast. Oh, I love Vader.
Vader does what he wants.
He's my
that's the
favorite
truth.
villain in there. And Palpatine, you just kind of jump around, yeah, you know, just and shoot lightning. But Vader, you get up close and personal and just start wrecking fools. Anybody else join?
Yeah.
Oh, I see you. Look who it is, folks. It's the hero of for us all, the great superpower from the world of Marvel, the Star Wars Galaxy hero Avenger himself. Warrior's here.
What's happening? How are you guys doing today?
That's right.
Hey, Warrior.
What's going on, Warrior? What's going on, partner?
What's up, brother?
I was riding my motorcycle. Otherwise, I would have been on the call earlier. But you know how it is. You're riding the motorcycle. Probably shouldn't be distracted.
Well, what kind of motorcycle do you have? Is it a Harley or is it a?
So I've owned everything. I've owned cruisers. I've owned crotch rockets. Own them all. But this is actually a Can-Am Spider RSS.
So you just felt the need for speed.
Kind of.
Like, oh, there goes Warrior, 900 miles an hour. It would be really cool if you told us you got one of those motorcycles where you're doing the thing where the knee goes out and you're like scraping the ground and doing those crazy turns.
Not anymore.
Okay.
That was 10 years ago.
Okay. All right, so make sure you get your questions in. First of all, I just want to ask, has anybody seen the new Avengers movie? I saw it yesterday.
Same here, man. Loved it. It was awesome. Oh my god, I
was-
can't
No,
wait
I
to see it
did not.
again.
So please, no spoilers.
Oh, no, we're not
please.
gonna-
No, never.
Warrior, you know
We
we
don't
wouldn't
do
do
that
that.
here.
Come on. But I can tell you that movie is. God,
Oh my
I
god.
had the feels
yes.
a few times where I was like, "Oh, ow!" Like, wow.
Yes. Amazing.
It's just incredible. So, if you have not seen the Avengers, Infinity War, I highly recommend. It is incredibly good. All right, so let's get into in-game stuff while the questions are coming in. Who's done the Mythic? Mike, you said you did the Mythic event, right?
Yes, mate, I did.
How was it?
It was. It took a while, but I'd seen one of my guildmates had done it with droids, so I thought I'd follow suit. HK lead, IG-88, Chopper, BB-8, and IPD. Took a little while, but yeah, no, it was good. Finished with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Happy days.
Okay, is anybody else?
I did mine already.
Who did you
Yeah.
use?
I used my pretty stacked Empire team of Palpatine, Vader, Thrawn, Death Trooper, and Krennic, and it was easy peasy.
Easy. Right? Anybody else done it and used a specific team?
I used a hybrid Empire Imperial Trooper combo because the traditional Imperial Troopers that everybody knew to work really well zips through the first 7 rounds, and then the 8th round you can't beat it. There's just way too much. So I just stuck in a Emperor Palpatine lead with Thrawn, and then had, of course, Veers, Shore Trooper, and Snow Trooper, and it was easy peasy. I lost almost no protection.
Very nice. Anybody else?
I went with Emperor Palpatine, Vader, Thrawn, Shore Trooper, and Death Trooper. And once you fracture Paplu with that, you can just start killing things.
Death to those little murder bears. They bring you
I will
pleasure.
round 4, you have to fight Tebow, and he doesn't do anything. He's like really slow and doesn't do any damage. But I hit him for at least 250,000 damage before he died. Probably closer to 500,000 damage.
Yeah.
The guy is tank.
Ugh.
They're trying to get us to farm Ewoks.
You think, eh?
I think so. They're just getting more and more utility as we figure them out. I love them, but I'm just resisting them.
I know. I'm working on Bounty Hunters now and Night Sisters, so I'm between the two. I'm like, Murder bears are the last thing I'm thinking about right now because, with the new reworks to the bounty hunters, golly, there's been a lot of stuff just recently that we just. I gotta say though, I love the bounty hunter reworks, and I'm seriously thinking about wailing out on Bosk. I really am. I mean, the more I look at this kit and what they did with bounty hunters, I'm just like, damn. That looks just amazing. It's like I'm just more and more convinced. Anybody else thinking about old Bosk?
Yeah, and since we got Warrior here, I'm going to point out to his video.
Oh yeah, we've been pimping the hell out of Warrior stuff.
One thing he said, and this is why I love his videos, is because he talks about teams that are fun, and that's what the bounty hunters are. They are fun as all hell. Getting the contracts, and they get the super buffs, and they go crazy. And sometimes the game can be a little bit of a drag. So if I can put a fun team in there for some giggles, I'm probably going to do that. And I'm probably going to get Bosk right off the bat as well.
Yeah, his kit looks great, and with what they did, the bounty hunters. It's hard to not want to get Bosk. I'm sorry. Hell, we've been using him in Battlefront just for fun. I've been playing Boba Fett, and Vincili's been playing Bosk. We've been running around like we're bounty hunters doing stuff. It just
see heroes in Battlefront.
Yeah, we were like, hey, let's form a bounty hunter team. Just run around and killing people. Of course, I'm awful with Boba Fett, so I'm like running into trees, and oh lord, it's awful because I don't have any cards and stuff, but. All right, so questions are coming in. I'm just going to start, as I wrote your name down as he popped in. So start from the top here with Mike, and then we'll work our way down. First question from Camille Buhalski. His question is, Mike, I'll have enough mats for my second Zeta soon. I run Zeta Emperor Palpatine lead, Tarkin, Thrawn, Vader, General Kenobi. I'm torn between Thrawn and Vader lead for soloing Rancor. What should I do?
Thrawn or Vader lead for soloing the Rancor.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I'm reluctant to leap into an answer here because I'm just thinking I don't have either lead zeted myself.
I would say Vader.
So I went to ships and then thinking which one brings the most. But I probably would say Vader. Vader is a.
But hold on, if he has General Kenobi, why is he still worried about the Rancor?
He's got a second Zeta. He's thinking, should he do Vader or Thrawn?
Oh. Maybe the Rancor is not. Maybe his Han isn't maxed out.
True. If you have
remember, there's different levels of people.
I suppose the other part of that is that I solo the Rancor with my non-zeted Vader as lead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just do Vader, Jin, Tarkin, Thrawn, and Gar Saxon. Yeah, I mean it could be anyone for that fifth spot. And basically, what all I've found is that the AI starts off with the piggies stupidly, so you manually can get rid of the piggies first time round, and then slap it on auto, come back in 15 minutes.
And Thrawn lead is such a great lead for territory wars. Zader you're not going to use anywhere, but the Rancor Zader was my very first Zeta, and I don't use him at all. It's very sad. I love him very much.
Good Zeta.
But he's never in lead spot anymore.
And of course he's an anti Zeta Palps.
Yeah.
Comp, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, I think you'll get more utility actually out of Thrawn.
Yeah, I think you will. All right. Next question, go down the line. Team Felix, this is for you. This is from Notorious Drac Knight. Question. Anyone else having trouble with the Mythic Ewok Assault event?
That's all going to depend on what your empire is at. I know Mike said he did it with droids, but I think that's probably going to be the harder route to go with.
Yeah, Mike likes pain.
if your Empire is not very good or is not quite as high, you might want to run the tankiest characters that you have. So I know Shore Trooper is kind of a pain to get. If you have Shore Trooper, definitely want to use him. If maybe you've maxed out or geared up your Stormtrooper for your Imperial Trooper team, he can work pretty well there. But you want to run the Palpatine lead. Tarkin works pretty well because he can constantly apply those debuffs, speed your team up, and then he will also slow the other team down with an AoE turn meter reduction. And then TIE Fighter Pilot is still amazing. His AoE will take out all of the souped up low health Ewoks really easily. So it's going to depend on which ones you have. If you want to put in the chat which characters you have running, I'll tell you what you can use.
Well, yeah. The next question from King Caster: how do I beat today's Mythic? Yes, kind of goes hand in hand, you know. I mean,
Can I-
go ahead, Warrior.
I was going to say, I think there's three things that you need. First off, this is the beautiful thing about this game. They're giving Thrawn and Emperor Palpatine away to anybody who's played 4 months and been dedicated to getting some Rebels, because basically 5 Phoenix gets you those 2 characters. And those 2 characters you have to have, really, in my opinion, for anybody who doesn't have a maxed out roster. If you don't have a bunch of Gear 12s and you've got to do this, you've got to have Thrawn and his Fracture and Ability Block. You also have to have Shock. You have to have Shock because it eliminates all of that extra buff gain, all the extra turn meter gain outside of turn. It also prevents the additional buffs. Plus, with him in the lead, if you happen to Zeta it, you're going to get a bunch of speed up, because guess what they do? They cleanse the hell out of each other. There's 2 cleansers across the way that are going to constantly keep their team cleansed off. So Emperor Palpatine, with his Shock, is almost necessary for anybody who doesn't have a maxed out squad, and Thrawn for the Fracture. So you can need to target. The first 7 rounds are easy except for round 1 and round 8. Round 1, they go first. They always go first because they're primed up. If you don't have an auto taunt like Shore Trooper, you're probably going to lose somebody in that first round if you've got Gear 8, Gear 9 characters. So with that, you need Shore Trooper there. Even if you lose him in round 1, it doesn't matter the rest of the battle. You don't even need him for the rest of the battle. So have him there for round 1. Then 2 through 7 is cakewalk. And then round 8 is a nightmare because they all have like 150,000 health and protection. And they constantly cleanse. And there's Poplu taunting nonstop. And they're going into stealth mode because of, if you don't have IPD, Death Trooper is good. If you don't have Death Trooper, IPD is good. If you don't have either one, B2 Battle Droid. But you need something that can, cleanse off their buffs. But Fracture is the most important, because that way you can then at least target somebody else, or you can take down the fractured target. Even with a maxed out Gear 12 team, it still took me like 5 minutes of play in the 8th round to win, just because of how tanky everybody was, even though it was an easy round. So, I really think there's utility there. You've got to have, and I think TIE Fighter Pilot is your best friend because he is free-to-play friendly, easy to get. A lot of people already have him to Gear 10, Gear 11. And he does a lot of debuffing, so when they cleanse it, it'll speed the team up. And he can put buff immunity down, and ability block. And ability block and buff immunity are 2 really, really key free-to-play friendly type abilities that you need to have, debuffs that you need to have for that mythic tier.
All right. Next question for Xylo. Let's see. This is from Danilo Papayas. Okay, here we go again. Question on I am unable to finish the Endor Moon Mythic tier because Stark, Death Trooper, and Shore are not 7 stars. What squad could you recommend? Oof. Without those characters?
We kind of just touched on that one a little bit. It all just depends on where you're at and what you have that's good going for you. Like Mike said, if you got droids, BB-8, always a good mechanic right there with Illuminated Destiny and those droids popping off all that turn meter. If you have your good droids, it's Gear 11, all Omegas, it's a mythic event for a reason, and they gave us a heads up on this kind of stuff for a reason to, let you finish out what you think is going to do it for you in this event. So just, go over your roster, shuffle some mods, it's going to take a little bit of time, but you're going to be happy you did it in the long run for those Zetas.
All right. Next question.
Target scouts. Scouts first. Get rid of scouts first.
Don't let
They're the ones that do all the damage. Scouts first, then the elders, warriors till last.
For sure.
If you can do that, and if you're running through and fracture one of the elders and ability block the other one to stop them from cleansing, reviving.
All right.
Yeah. Also to note real quick too, before we go to the next question, there's not a lot of new mechanics. It's just there's some added characters in the end, like Logray and Paplu and all that stuff, and it's nothing new. Just watch your cooldowns and like they said, do the elders and don't let them respawn.
All right. Next question for T Money, and this is from Young Guns 8834. He says, "Hey guys, question. I plan on gearing up bounty hunters for fun. Do you think a double Zeta gear 11 boss could be arena viable?"
Ooh, I don't know. Bosk is so exciting. I mean, his ability, his leader ability for one, looks like it makes. I'm just going to pull it up here because I've been reading it over and over again, and there's so much to remember.
Pulling it up, I just want to throw 2 cents in. For anybody who thinks that they look like fun and they just want to play it because it's fun, go do it. You don't have to spend the money on getting them to 7 stars. Just get them to play and have fun. This is a really fun team. It'll pay off down the road. And this is the other thing to keep in mind. And I have no insider information, but a new movie's coming out, right? And it's a bunch of scoundrels in the movie. And if you'd be weird to think that they're not bringing more scoundrels into the game, including a new Han Solo, which we know about from this movie. So Bosk, right now, bounty hunters aren't arena viable. They said that they're not super uber arena viable. They're more PvE, and they got all these leadership abilities. But what if the new Lando or the new Han Solo or something like that comes into the game that then puts them over the edge? And if you decided not to go in on them, this happened to Emperor Palpatine before Scion. Emperor Palpatine rework and Darth Vader rework happened, and everybody went, meh, they're not as good on arena as we thought they would be. And then all of a sudden Scion got put into the team, and all of a sudden that team is overpowered in the meta 80% of the teams, right? So there's something more coming out in this month. And so if you think they look like fun and you just want to have fun, do it. You're going to get the benefit long-term for PvE. And who knows, they may be arena viable once all of the pieces of this puzzle are brought out to us.
There you go. I think that's a great answer.
He's like, I'm going back to drinking coffee and maple syrup.
Pointy finger what he said.
What he said, exactly.
All right, let me see here. Oh, stupid question thingy. Well, kind of going on to that. Let's see here. Warrior from Good Old Marie's question. Will Bosk leadership actually make my tenacity mods useful for PvP?
Possibly. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a small tenacity buff, but tenacity is just. I mean, the only tenacity thing with bounty hunters I see that's even sort of possible is the stacking negative tenacity on individuals, including raid bosses. I think looks like a possibility for phase 1.
Yeah. For PvP, don't really know yet. All right, back to the top. Mike, question from Good Old Maurice again. Question. Will anyone on the panel be experimenting with the IG-88 IPD Zeta target lock mechanic?
We have a video out. Half-Face1 and I did a video this week and already put it out. And I can tell you, great theory, doesn't work. The reason is the current meta. There's just too many cleansers that pull off the target lock, like Thrawn, R2D2. People just cleanse themselves. There's if you have R2D2 across the way, Jedi Training Ray across the way, CLS across the way, Thrawn across the way, and more than likely one of those 4 is on there. It's not going to work.
I think he's assuming that you're going to have the Zeta on Imperial Probe Droid, so the target lock is uncleansable.
I've got a Zeta on my IPD, and I ran an all-droid IG-88 IPD today. I didn't really notice much, although the thing I noticed most was Ewok elders are very tenacious, and you have a hard job landing target lock on the very slippery buggers.
Just try harder, Mike.
Yes, I must do.
Oh no, you're right.
Do we get another go tomorrow?
Do we? I don't know.
Well, the other thing I noticed is once you've got the Zetas, if you look again afterwards at the rewards, it's only showing Omegas.
Well, I'll take that. Jeez.
Yeah, but it's you took the Zetas away after the first time.
I have 3 times as many Zetas as I do Omegas right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I've got a Zeta to deploy, and I'm like,
what can be cleansed? It can't be evaded. Means that it goes through foresight. It strips foresight, and it also they can't gain buffs, obviously, but it's totally and completely cleansable, which is what I don't
sorry, I got that. I had this thought in my mind before it came out that that's what it was, and I just haven't been willing to admit that that's not it. So my bad. You're right. Yeah.
You'd need like a DT or a Nihilus in there, wouldn't you, just to knock them back one?
Yeah, keep them from being able to
keep it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question for you, King Felix. This is from Ski Trooper. Question. Territory War defensive team built around CLS Han and Commander Han Solo, or Captain Han Solo, I'm sorry. What 2 out of those 3 to round it out? Lando, Scareforble Pathfinder, Stormtrooper Han. What do you think?
So out of the 3 you just quoted, I'd say SRP and Stormtrooper Han. The best 2 to put with those 3 is Chase. That's a really good Territory War team. But out of those 2, just keep with the double tanks, and then Han can keep healing them and reviving them, and you let OG Han and Luke deal out all your damage.
There you go. All right, next question for Xylo. This is from good old Maurice. Question: with Bosk having 151 base speed, what would be a good scenario for him outside of a bounty hunter team?
I honestly, you won't see any viability with him outside of a bounty hunter team because I think it's safe to say right now that Bosk looks like the best payout and leadership in general with the survivability, health regeneration, the stacking statistics. I mean, outside of a bounty hunter team, I guess you could try and run him with these extra tank Rex Mother Talzin teams, perhaps Frenzy with Mother Talzin and spreading plague, and then between maybe a crew or something like that, and you'd have to put other tanks next to him that could make him a little more burly and wouldn't have to focus in on him being taunting so much. But again, you won't really see too much viability outside of the bounty hunter factions. You need them to get the contracts fulfilled. You want as much synergy with them as possible. You want Boss calling everybody to assist with his stun. So again, I thought about the idea myself personally, running Bosk outside of a bounty hunter team, but you need him as the leader. You need him as a full 5 bounty hunter team. It's the synergy. It's all there on paper. You want to keep your tunes and your factions together as much as you can.
All right. Next question for Team Money. This is from Ancient Farmer. And the question is, how should Rex be modded to counter Palp Sith meta? Should he be the fastest?
Yes. I run Rex with a whole slew of different characters underneath him, and I pile my my speed on Rex, unless if you like to run Thrawn and you want to get Thrawn fastest, then he can pass his turn meter over to Rex after that initial those initial debuffs come from Vader. But he's nice to have quick. Not only just that first time to get tenacity up, but usually you need to have tenacity up. For me anyway, I need to get it up twice to win comfortably. And so the order of who goes when really matters on that team. And if you do it right, you can get Rex's tenacity up first, which cleanses everything, and then General Kenobi's retribution right afterwards. And then that team is done because of they're so AoE based that the retribution is just going to kill them.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question for Warrior. This is from Nathaniel Miller. Question: what ships should I use to beat the Endurance Capital Ship 7-star mission? What level pilots should they be? All my ships are already 7 stars.
Comfortably, probably gear 9 or gear 10 with level 7 abilities. Don't think you'll need the Omegas. And as far as which ships, they already mentioned ships is going to be going down to 3 versus 3, and I think that's actually going to make all these events way easier because they're going to across the board change everything to be reflective. So if you can't beat it right now with what you have, wait till the ships change kicks in to effect, so you can actually attempt it with 3v3, and then you only actually have to have 3 really powerful ships with a few slightly less powerful in the backup, and you should be able to complete. We'll see what happens when it changes, but you definitely want to take your pilots to gear 9 at a minimum.
Yeah, I mean, anything less, you're just. All right, next question from Mike. This is from Luis Mendez. Question: I'm currently farming Panda in Cantina, and I've farmed just about everyone with the exception of Gar and Imperial Commander. Should I farm them too, or shift my focus back on farming mods? Mikey? Do we lose Mike?
Ah, I'm here.
You knucklehead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you knucklehead.
Yeah, no, my iPad just told me I need connection to talk to
You were on mute because of swear daughter, don't lie.
No, she's only just woken up.
That's the worst time to have her. No.
West London alert. Sweary daughter is going to see Infinity Wars tonight with her sister.
Lord.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there now. Yeah, make it
There'll
all
be
a
a
no-go
lot of cussing
area.
and swearing going on up in there.
Oh, won't
Yeah.
they just? Yes. In answer to question, personally, I'd say yes. Do them. They're pilots.
Yes.
So farm them. The ship is fantastic. It really is a good ship. Yeah. And of course, we were discussing during the lunch shows that the Omegas seem to have increased on their drop rates.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win-win-win-win. Maybe on Cantina Energy Guild night, do your full 600 with that, and then do your mod farm. But during the week, farm. That would be do it.
Yeah, you might as well just finish them off. I mean, I already did Gar. I just got to do Super Commando, and I think all my ship guys will be 7 stars. I just haven't done Imperial. He's 85 and everything, but I just Crew came out, and I'm like, I'll do the Crew, and then Panda came out. I'm like, well, I'm gonna finish Panda. It's like, if I have a choice, I'm gonna go with them before I go with finishing Super Pooper.
And then you get Spirit as well. That's dropped into.
I'm not
Cantina.
too worried about Spirit. I'm going to finish up my Crew before I do Spirit. I'm not. I just, I want to get those. Actually, I got to do Geo.
Oh, you've got
too.
to do Crew.
I've done Crew. All those are done. So I just need to do Imperial Super Commando and Geo Spy to 7 stars. They're geared in 85. I just want to do that. So all my ships are 85. So it's just a matter of getting those 2 done, and then I'm done with that crap. Okay. Next question for King Felix, and the question is from Old Joss, and the question is: under Zeta Palpatine, when the other team cleanses, does that give my team turn meter, or does the debuffs have to expire naturally?
Yes, it does give your team turn meter.
Yeah, that's what makes it so disgusting.
So even when you land your AoE debuff with Vader, and then Rex cleanses the whole team, it just makes the rest of your team go immediately, as long as they're obviously faster than the opposing characters. Because once you get 100% turn meter, from what I'm pretty sure I understand correctly, if two characters have 100% turn meter, it goes to the character with the highest speed, I believe.
Is that how that works? I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works, but not 100% positive.
Huh. Let's see here. Oh, Finity has a question. Let's see. Where am I at? Okay, Xylo. Xylo, with May the 4th coming up, what do you think they will do? What would you want them to do? Should players be trying to save up anything in preparation? Ooh.
Yeah, I think they'll end up doing something similar to what they did to the crystal packs at least last year. Maybe every one of the crystal packs in the store could be half off or anything like that. You know, they kind of already noted that, you know, Bosk is going to be the May the 4th character, and you know, I could see some more in-game updates too. Perhaps maybe some of these ship updates, the quests. Maybe perhaps too as well. It'd be nice to see some of that in game, or maybe some, you know, more detailed description about some of these future content in general. So I think that's what we could see maybe.
They did double drops last year too, I believe, correct?
Yeah. So it's double drops, especially since they dropped all these extra hard note attempts on us with Rose and Haldo as well, and now you can do 8 attempts in a day. So I feel like, you know, that double drops on top of all that would be amazing.
Do we think anybody here on the panel think that they're going to do something sneaky, maybe do another character, sneak one in, or something else?
Yep. I don't think a one marquee for Bosk is going to be it.
What do you think? What are you thinking, King?
And well, here's what I'm thinking. Has anybody noticed the fleet commanders, the fleet captains or whatever, fleet commanders that are all coming through the events right now? I don't know if you've noticed that, but there's 2 Mace Windu, the back-to-back Mace Windus, Tarkin and Akbar are all coming inside of a week.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking another fleet commander or more ships.
Could be. I mean, they are reworking ships, so.
And they already kind of put that out. Obviously, no timeline soon, TM, but they might come out with a whole list of ships or a whole something like that, or some kind of event maybe that you have to have the fleet commanders at 7 stars for.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next question. This is for Team Money. This is from Molester.
Molester.
Question: Do you think? Sorry. Do you think we could potentially see new characters having to be unlocked via the Bounty Hunter Contracts event, similar to the one we had the other day?
Excuse me. Well, I think they're going to cycle characters through there. I don't know if there's going to be new characters in there. It would be pretty slow way to get them. But, you know, after their initial launch, perhaps. You know, they say it's a rare event, but the next one is May 7th. So that's not too rare. I know they're like their cadence, they're very rare, extremely rare, like, you know, unicorn rare sort of, you know, categories for events. But, you know, that's about 3 weeks between events. So if they do come maybe every 6 weeks or something like that, I'm sure they're just kind of rolling this out, giving us a taste of the event and then bringing it back for the May 4th week. But after that, if it comes every 6 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that, I think it'll be good. But I don't know if it's enough to actually farm a character exclusively through that anyway. But it would be, yeah, probably Bosk won't be in there. It's kind of weird to fight with him to get him, but I'm imagining Hermit Yoda is going to show up, given Wampo is in there. You know, I'm hoping Holdo and Rose will show up, and you know, a lot of the other new tunes that have come to us in the last little while.
That's science.
They did say that this ultra rare event, because people don't need to get a taste of it. Actually, in the forum update, they said it will be an ultra rare event, but for the first time, they're going to bring it twice back to back, so that way people get a chance a second time, since the first time may be kind of a flip flop, and they didn't have Bosk. So the second time is what was like announced by them that they wanted to do it, soon with Bosk, and then it's going to be probably every 6 months because ultra rare means 6 months.
Oh, 6 months. Jeez. I thought it was just rare. And one of the things that they noted that's important to note is you only get to do it once before crystal refresh. This time they gave it to us twice as a little bonus, but from now on you only get to do it once, and then it'll be, whatever, the 800 crystal refresh or something like that.
Mm.
The Wampa node seems to be screaming for a Bosk lead.
It sure does.
So 3
I think
days
Sir
after
Loki
he's
is the only person I know who beat it. Did anybody on the panel beat the Wampa node?
Oh, hell no.
I
got close a couple of times, and I think if I would have put my arena mods on my bounty hunters, I could have done it. But it wouldn't, and it would have taken me another 15 attempts. But I wasn't about to do that, so I was 6 shards away from finishing IPD, so I just did his once, and then I went and did Papaloos and took the currency.
Mm.
But with Boss, it'll be.
I was a couple rounds, but the third round I lost a few people, and then 4th round they just Wampa killed me. But I have, to be fair, horrific mods on my bounty hunters, and I chose not to remod them.
What are you talking about? They're all gold, level 15. Come on.
I know, but did you even see? Speed secondaries aren't even a thing. Those are non-speed secondaries, and they don't even match. Like I didn't even get speed. I didn't even get like basic matching bonuses from mods.
I loved your sets: 2 crit damage, 2 speed, 1 health, and 1 tenacity.
Exactly. I'm just shoving them on, just like, hey, okay, whatever. Put some mods on people.
I think mine were loaded with potency just for the Boba lead. And yeah, same sort of thing. The only fast one, really, well, 2 for me is Boba and Zan, but she's fast anyway.
I'm so sad she didn't get the contract. I feel like that's just an
she needs a
oversight.
ship.
I don't know why. I don't know what the point is of not giving those 2 anything. I know they were trying to keep it to the OG bounty hunters, but I don't know.
You probably got something playing with him.
Cad needed it, man. Cad is a badass, and everybody that likes bounty hunters, for the most part, I mean, if you're a bounty hunter fan, you are a Cad fan, and for him not to get any love and possibly never get any love, because now that this is his shining glory and it's past, there's a good chance he'll become mob enforcer of the. You know what I mean? It's sad.
That's a great show.
We've already kind of speculated a little bit about Clone Wars bounty hunters in the future. So it's not impossible for them to get contracts in the future still.
If they bring like a Jango Fett in and some more bounty hunters from the Clone Wars, I could see that.
Yeah,
Let's start our campaign
Sang, and then we also want to see Embo. All those new tunes from the Clone Wars would be cool.
Maybe we'll get a different Cad Bane.
No, that's not going to happen.
No.
Better, bluer.
All right, next question to Warrior. This is from Fat Tony 99. Question: with the recent hard node change, I haven't had any energy to farm gear. Would you recommend dropping a couple single hard node farms for gear, or should I continue to focus on the shards? The nodes I've been farming are the Talzin, Zombie, Wicket, Nihilist, Falcon, and Sabine.
So, wow, that's a lot of hard node farms, but any of the traditional energy hard node farms, you might want to focus fire on one specific light and one specific dark, and hammer them, and then use the rest of your energy for, gear, and kind of, do both at one time instead of focusing on so many characters. But, me personally, if you're asking what I did, I always would go star rarity first, and just, even if it took me to not be able to farm for a while, I would just hammer those and try and get the characters to 7 stars. And then after 4 to 6 weeks, I would then be able to start focusing on gearing them. So you can either do duality, do them both at the same time and just focus on less characters, or obviously focus on all at once. But I guess it depends on your preference of how you want to run. Personally, your account. For me, I like to get that rarity in there first, because then I can at least donate them if they need to be donated in territory battles, and I can use them in raids even if they're trash. They're available to go in there. So the star is kind of it's like a key, and if you don't have the key, you can't really use them with most of the PvE content.
There we go. All right, next question, back to the top to Mike. Question from Bing NKC. Question: when recruiting, what does the panel look at first? Where should your priorities be?
Active, hitting your 600s. After that, I think that's the main one. Is the fact that you're active. What we tend to do is just look through the entire roster, what you're working on, and also kind of how you're gearing, and see whether we can help you with that. If so activity would be the first and foremost. We're looking for someone that's going to be a team player, not someone that's joining just chasing shards.
Yeah. All right, next question, King Felix. This is kind of around the corner. It seems that while people are still working to get Zetas, the biggest crunch is getting Omegas. What would you like to see get done to add more Omegas in the game?
I am really hoping they make Omegas prevalent in the new PvE ships table. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Because, like I said earlier, I have 3 times as many Zetas as I have Omegas right now. And with the bounty hunters coming up, I did not have them Omega'd before this, and I'm regretting it now. and I couldn't put them all on there because I still got Bosk coming in a week. So gotta save some for him. So I'm hoping the new ships rework PvE table will provide us with some Omegas.
Look, everybody! It's the chicken chaser himself, Grande Patrol, is here. I see, Grande.
Hello.
Well, hello, Grande.
I prefer French tickler. I'm a little bit better at that than I'm at chicken chasing.
Well, you're good at both, Grande.
Oh man, how's it going this beautiful morning for everybody?
It's going good. He who shall name Rose Taco.
Oh.
What about Grande's taco?
No, if you didn't see the show this week, Grande mispronounced Rose Tico's name and said Rose Taco.
Oh yeah.
And the memes and the things that have been happening since then. We even have a T-shirt now.
Yep, and the taco with the rose petals in the taco. There's now an RST shirt about it. I mean, donations spiked, sponsorship spiked. Whenever I did that, apparently I'm not the only one that makes that kind of twist of the words. That way. But it was pretty epic. Great time.
Are you here just to hang out, or you want to answer some questions, Grande?
I'm here. Donde están los preguntas? Bring on the questions.
All right. So this is from I Spank Myself. And his question is, has anyone else noticed that Jabba is no longer in the far right of the cantina? What's up with that, Grande?
Yeah, he's been gone for a little bit, so I don't know where Jabba has slithered off to. But that guy pushed me over, like the first day I played the game. And ever since, and then he sat there and taunted me in the little section where ships are. And then he sat there and taunted me in the corner for a little bit. And then he went over to the ship section for a little bit. I'm about ready to fight this dude. I mean, I've been playing this game for 2 years. I think I could fight him. I think I could take him.
You can take
what
him.
Do you think, Ranger?
Well,
you think you take it? I think you could take him.
Well, with my training, I think you could do it.
All you need is a bathing suit and a steel chain. I mean, come on.
Nice. That's right. What if the reward for beating him was Slave Leia?
That'll never happen.
That would be epic. That would be so freaking epic.
Oh my god. Alright, let's go back to some more questions. Next one's for Xylo. This is from Bing NKC. Question: what do we think the crew will be for the new Millennium Falcon when it comes out?
It'll probably be Chewie, Han, and Lando, the Donald Glover loon.
I hope they don't end up with 5 people on a ship again.
Oh, God.
You know? And then
no, it'll be the 3.
But I just don't want to have 5 people on a ship, and the guy whose job title is actually pilot is not a pilot. I'd like for that not to happen. Cough, cough, Bodie Rook.
Who are you? I'm the pilot. Well, you don't get a ship. What? Oh, Lord. All right, next question for T-Money. This is from Darth Skywalker. Question. How long do you think this game will stay popular?
Oh, that's a great question. I think about it all the time. I mean, I think they're doing a lot. 2 things. One, Marvel Strike Force is out in full force and is a direct
you mention that name on the show.
I know. I'm sorry. I am playing it. It is boring. Like in comparison to this game, like honestly, this game takes a lot of brain power. It does. It sounds ridiculous, but it takes a lot of brain power. This game is extremely dynamic. We have a lot of characters. Just mods alone, think of all of the the infinite number of combinations that you can make between teams with different mods. Like it's a very complicated game. It just is. Marvel Strike Force is kind of like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes was when it first started out. It's just simple. Like there are no mods. I'm sure they'll add all of these things because Marvel Strike Force is exactly like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. The dailies are completely aligned. It's like 3 light side battles, 3 hero battles, 3 dark side battles, 3 villains battles. Like it's ridiculous. So they copied it. So they're doing a bunch of things right now to counter that game because lots of people are flocking over there. I recognize tons of names in my own shard, my own arena shard, who are like great players in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And then I think that the very smart thing that Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes has been doing for a while is that they're kind of copying Marvel now. Is that they're giving new players opportunities that we didn't have. Folks that have been playing a year, 2 years more that we didn't have when we started out. So Good Maurice, he runs an alt account and now they're giving away shards like crazy, which is something they do in Marvel Strike Force. Like you just get free shards all the time and you're unlocking characters all the time just for free. Kind of like bronziums, but just like the drop rates are, you're getting like a shard every time you open an orb. Whereas with a bronzium, you might get one every 5 or 6 times. So they're really giving new players a leg up. I think that the Star Wars franchise is a very loyal, has a very loyal fan base. And so, part of me feels very awful that I'm playing Marvel Strike Force, even though like I'm a fan of, Daredevil and Jessica Jones and a lot of those TV shows. I'm just so much more a Star Wars fan, so I think that the fan base here is a ton more loyal. And the game is it's just better. It's going to take them a long time to catch up to everything that's in Star Wars. So I think that the game is going to last, but I also think that the top players, I'm sure that they have graphs of like, look at the spending curve for, all of the 10 top guilds, that's going down and they're going to have to depend on new players to spend. And I don't know if that's going to continue like the frenzy it was for the day one players, but I think it'll continue on for a while.
All right. Next question for Warriors. This is specifically for Warrior, and this is from Revenator. And the question for Warrior. From your testing of the enhanced ships with reinforcement abilities, do you have some new favorite ships now?
Yes. Question answer.
Tell us.
Yeah, so Geonosians are now my favorite faction. I got them all to Gear 12 and contemplating putting all their Gear 12 pieces on them, at least 2, pieces of Gear 12 on them. What happens when you use them in ships is Geonosian Soldier and Spy go into stealth mode, so nobody can hit them, and they call assists every time they attack. So you get double attacks, and they buff each other, and they end up doing more damage. And so while they're still slow, there's so many bonus attacks. When it's a 3v3, they gang up is what they're doing. It's like a hive mentality. They kind of gang up on one ship. And then there's Sunfac just sitting there all tanky as hell, like, oh, hit me, hit me. And he's stunning fools, and the other two are just slicing through the other ships fast. The fastest wins I had in under 60 seconds with no losses was Geonosians every time. The First Order was interesting. They were viable against like rebels, but they weren't as good against Empire. Empire was still really good against every faction, and I won every battle. It just took a little bit longer to win every battle. And the things that people got to remember is the capital ships actually all get additional abilities too. So, that it was in beta, so things could change. But the Akbar ship is now like super relevant. Tarkin is even more relevant. Like I could see a lot of people wanting to go Tarkin lead, especially with the 3v3. The one thing I thought that was going to change was I thought the ultimates wouldn't matter anymore. Right? Because like there's only 3 ships. The only time the ultimates didn't matter was when I was running Geonosian. When I was running every other ship, the ultimates did end up playing out. So yeah, Geonosians are what I'm gonna be working on, and I started working on them the moment I told everybody on my video to start working on them. So I didn't really get much of a jump start either.
Real quick, can I add a question to that too for you, Warrior?
No.
If it's related to Geonosians, yes. The answer is yes. I'm very excited about that.
On the beta, was there a defense? Like, did you have a way to set the Geonosians on defense? And if so, like, how did they hold on defense? Was there, the First Order, another faction holding better on defense for you?
So, I want it to come out as a final product, but on beta, there really wasn't anything defensively, just like there isn't anything now. The only thing I noticed was everything could beat everything for the most part, but there was a few times where I tried compositions where the composition I played out, I picked a bad composition and it ended up just being trash on offense. But most of the compositions were pretty good on offense and could win. And on defense, it wasn't the thing. What I think is going to happen, this is the only way ships is going to get better for everybody in the long run, is for those people that, I have a bunch of people on my shard who are free to play, and they took a year and a half to get caught up with me. And now they're caught up with me. Why? Because they farmed 7 ships and that's it. I farmed 26 ships. And so I have no advantage. Well, now I do, because I have the Geonosians at Gear 12 and their abilities maxed out with Omegas in their 5-dot muzzle. I'm going to be able to swap on day one to a new team that might be a little bit more difficult for them to beat because they don't have the counter team, because everything's going to be more paper, rock, scissors. And so it's going to reward those people who actually cared about ships from the long term, kind of like adding, the crystals at the top end. People who cared about ships got rewarded overnight with crystals, whereas everybody else was like, oh, I don't care about ships. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, there's crystals now. So I think the only advantage is going to be people with a wider array of ships, because they will have different combinations that they can try, and they can see how far they drop and which combination they drop the least on, and that'll come out with time. But really, about anything beat anything, and your capital ship spends most of its time just bringing in reinforcements. Every time it gets a chance, it's like bringing in a reinforcement kind of thing. So I just don't think it's going to be as defensible as it is today, but I think it will be better because we'll have the ability to spread our wings and try other teams, which we can't currently do now. If I put anything else in, I drop 80 to 100 spots.
Right.
All right. Next question from Darth Skywalker. Grande, you still there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're not chasing chickens or something. This is from Darth Skywalker, and his question is, what do you think are the three next factions to get some love?
3 next factions to get some love.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're talking game-wide, I think it's Geonosians, Jedi's, and gosh, I don't know who's going to be the third one.
Maybe clones.
No, it's gonna be Galactic Republic, or it's gonna be Separatists.
Right.
So I think what's gonna happen is we get a bunch of tags that are in Separatists and a bunch of tags that are in Galactic Republic. Somehow, characters inside those two factions, along with Jedi's, get reworked.
Mm-hmm.
And that covers my Geonosians, right? Because Geonosians are Separatists.
Yeah.
So it's Separatist, Galactic Republic, and Jedi's.
Well, Jedi's, some of them are Galactic Republic.
Yeah, some of them are Galactic Republic too. I know.
Yeah. Oh.
Boom! Covered my bases with two factions.
There you go. That's why we keep you around, Grande.
That's right. I gave you the safe answer.
Now
but that's actually the real answer.
You did very good, Grande. You get a cookie and you get to stay on the show for another week.
Hey, how do I get a cookie?
Do you want
right?
And I've been getting cookies for 2 years, guys.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with you guys.
Comparably, I just met you guys, so you have to earn the cookies.
I think I have earned my cookies.
Oh no,
over and over
you've
again.
done a lot of things with me, T-Money, that have just made me.
What things have I done to you?
Should I just mention the mother ever bombs?
Oh yeah. Never mind. Carry on. Touche.
All right, T-Money gets a cookie too. All right, back to the top. Mike, this is from Darth Hideous, and his question is, I'm trying to help a guildmate mock up a remod for his Titan team, and it occurred to me, I've never ran a Titan team. So, what's the speed order for modding that team?
Which one's the Titan team?
Mike, you're fired.
Is that the Thrawn lead one?
No.
Which one?
No one help Mike.
Yeah.
No one help Mike. Mike, you should know this.
GK.
No, Brian, I said don't help him.
Oh.
Did he say Rex?
Rex Lead. Yeah.
No, it's not
Rex lead.
Grande doesn't know either.
Rex Lead, CLS, OG.
Grande's just making up stuff.
The cup.
Did you guys drink your coffee today or what?
Akbar.
Geospy.
I don't
General
know.
Grievous. Everything that starts with a G.
Look,
Jedi Knight Guardian.
in my roster, I've got Mr. Mustachio and Mr. Beardy. That gives you some indication of naming conventions. I don't know what that squad is. I probably run it.
The
But,
Titan team is a combination of either CLS and Rex.
R2.
okay, so you want Thrawn fast.
Well, R2 was in it, but it's GK, CLS, OG Han, Ron, and I missed CLS, Rex, Ron, GK, OG Han. There you go. Those are the 5 typically, or you can throw R2 in there.
Yes, you want a fast Thrawn.
Yes, one very fast Thrawn.
Stun Vader. Job done.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you want... So, OG Han's going to go first, right? So, you stun Vader with OG Han. And then your Thrawns, you want him to be the fastest. Because then you're going to... I always do this. I turn meter swap with Rex. Because Thrawn's always going to be faster than Rex. Rex does his tenacity up. Then General Kenobi, by that point, maybe one or two of theirs go. But, maybe Vader goes... Or, I'm sorry, Vader. But one of theirs goes, or 2 of them. And then... basically, you put Retribution on from Kenobi, and then, as Team Money mentioned earlier, that team just wrecks. Because if you get that tenacity up with Retribution, their AoE is just going to lead to them dying horribly. And it's basically, you can fracture, because Thrawn's done his tournament swap, he can fracture somebody too, so you can fracture the tank, like Zion or something. It just gives you so many options. So Thrawn is the key piece there. You want him to be as fast as humanly possible. And then the rest, Rex next, and then go down the line. So that's kind of how you want to run the Titan team. Do not use R2. You're just begging to get slaughtered. The days of R2 in that team are done for right now. Does that help you, Mike?
I was just thinking what he said. Yes, thank you.
Awful. Let's see. King Felix, next question from Darth Skywalker. Question: is it still worth it to invest in Night Sisters?
Oh. I personally hate the Night Sisters.
No!
And hold on, it's for this one reason. It is because they rewarded, and obviously it's kind of changed now, but initially they rewarded you for not gearing up your character, which is Night Sister Zombie.
To boss.
Well, I mean, they rewarded you for not putting in the effort on this team, and that just it stuck in my craw.
You know, they said that they didn't intend for her to be like that either, too, just to note that.
Which I believe that, but obviously the player base finds all these different ways to play the game than the devs can because there's a million of us to them. But they're great in territory wars. They are very good in the Sith raid, and you can still find, little hit and miss Night Sister teams in the top 50. Mother Talzin especially is amazing. You can put her in that great Rex-led Talzin, Kenobi, Thrawn, and Wampa team, which is very good in Arena. So I say if you're going to do the Night Sisters, then do them all the way to where Night Sister Zombie is not gear 5 and just as fast as you can make her.
But you're not going to top out on your raid score if she's geared for if you're using Ventress and P4. That's the only reason to keep her low these days.
Well, it goes against the American way, damn it.
They do things different in Canada, right, team?
They do. They do things different in Canada.
We have great social programs for under-geared
zombies.
tunes. Yeah.
Why don't you get some free health care, okay?
Canadian
really need it because
sponsor
she just keeps
light
dying.
zombies.
I got mine to 10.5 before I finally stopped. It's like, oh no.
What have I done?
Gear 6 is the cut off or some crazy nonsense like that. I say do them, but the primary use for that team, in my opinion, is Territory Wars. It's a very good defensive team. And I am unfortunately working on mine because I'm kind of running out of stuff to do. So I say they're still worth it, but they shouldn't be. There's many other teams that should take priority over the Night Sisters.
I got one thing to add to that. If you like Zetas, get a 7-star Mother Talzin.
Yeah. I was going to say they're also...
And Wicket.
Wicket, yeah.
They're a great squad to run to get a 3-star hard node as well. Because even if you lose them, you bring them back.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because I've been working on hard nodes for, just all day, Mike. Thanks.
Well, no, I'm just saying that if he's looking at working on them, then chances are he hasn't done all his hard nodes and stuff yet.
Come on, Mike. Get out of here with that. Go be
I love how passionate everybody is with the Night Sisters one way or the other. You either love them or you hate them.
Go be an adult and use a Sith Empire team like you're supposed to.
See, I've got a 1 point.
We're all playing a Disney game. I just want to point that out. Every once in a while, I remember that. I'm like, this is a Disney game that we love.
I used to hate Night Sisters.
Now
I love them. They're amazing. Every team in the game in general has its own purpose or place, right? But when Night Sisters first came out and they were consistently reviving in the arena, it was like, oh, these are insane. I hate this. And now that we have more accessibility to them and we can finally use them all, they're great. They're amazing.
Hey, Zylo, I got a follow-up question for that. If you found every team in the game to have a place,
not every team.
What's the team you found for Tuskens? I just want to know what their place is.
Yeah, it's
you need a big old cup and mob enforcer.
I know where you put your Tuskens. You get them to use put a 0 on the raid.
Yep.
That's Hermit Yoda's job now.
Oh, good, yeah. That
My Hermit does not do that. My Hermit does not do that.
Plus, you get to use him again in the raid. How cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't even waste the 2.
God.
Tusken Raider works well in Rancor if you haven't farmed up a really good turn meter reduction team. His basic removes turn meter. So Tusken Raider is good in Rancor, and Tusken Shaman works really well under Vader lead. It's fallen out of favor, but you can still run Tusken Shaman under a Vader lead with a Wampa and just start piling up those dots and just going crazy.
Oh.
So Tuskens have a place, Grande. Don't be hating.
If they ever do a Tusken rework and make them really OP, I hope that Anakin can still go through and just slaughter them all.
I hate them!
Hey, when they do Tuskens, they need to put Asherod Het on there, because in the comic books, Asherod Het and Anakin Skywalker had a lightsaber duel when Anakin briefly went to the dark side.
Yeah, the old comic books, or the newer ones, I'm sorry.
All right. Next question for Zylo. This is from Young Guns 8834. Question: which Zeta is more important for boss, consider being used in a bounty hunter team? Obviously,
definitely, in my opinion, the leadership role. I mean, you want to give as much synergy to the team as a whole, and I feel like the leadership just speaks for that in general, right? I mean, would anybody else disagree?
No, I don't think anybody would disagree.
Nope.
Maybe Mike.
I think both Zetas are great too. I mean, any tune in the game with more than one Zeta, you can always double glance at their second Zeta or their third Zeta. It's just Bosk in general looks amazing, and on paper in general, and what we've seen on the film, both Zetas are going to be even better benefit. So the leadership is a must, in my opinion, to benefit the whole team. But the unique is more of a, if you want to finish him off now, or if you want to start putting all these Zetas on these bounty hunters and you're hoarding them up, or you've been planning on spending some Zetas on one faction, I would say the bounty hunters are a comfortable faction to invest a little bit of Zetas into.
Well, that kind of leads us to our next question for Team Money. This is from Vobarian. And the question is, do you think, like me, that bounty hunters are going to be a good dark side stutter team like Phoenix? They seem to have everything and aren't too hard to get early on. What do you think, Team Money, eh?
Well, I'm just trying to think of where everybody is where you get everybody. There's a couple of characters that are tough to acquire. Dengar being in the guild store, for instance, I have some players in our top 50 guild that still don't have Dengar. I'm seeing these little packs being bought and Dengar brought to 7 stars sort of thing. So I think that
Dengar is more him and Zam are in the guild store, but like IG-88, Boba Fett, Greedo, Cad Bane, they're easy farms, right?
I think when you're starting off, the most important thing is dark side ships. Like it's Phoenix, like Warrior is so right about getting Phoenix and getting your EP and your Thrawn. That's so important. But if you're focusing on only Phoenix for ships, then you're going to delay Zetas, and that's really like to have a powerful roster. What I like to do, and that's something, sorry, I'm going to say the bad word again. What I'm doing with Marvel Strike Force is I'm looking at the very end, like the end game players who've been playing in the beta for the last few months, and I'm seeing what do they have. So I'm just ignoring all of these like easy to get characters, and I'm just going for the most difficult to get characters that might put me down in arena for a little while, but then I'm going to jump way up. So really, the end game right now for the very best players in the game, what do they have? They have the best mods, and they have the most Zetas. So so that's really what, if I was starting this game all over again, I would farm mods. I would only level purple and gold mods. It's going to be like a hard grind to begin with, but then you're just going to be so ahead of everybody else when you have, when you develop your dark side ships and get your Zetas starting to roll in. So the bounty hunters, Boba for sure, he's got a ship, but I'm so excited about the Geonosians having some good ships. Those are all pretty easy to farm tunes. And although a couple of them do take cantina energy, so that competes with your mod farming, but and they don't have to be any gear level. Like if you're starting out, you don't have your Zeta mission done yet. I did the Zeta mission with my spy at like I don't even think he was leveled. He was just unlocked. Like it was just, you just need the ships. You don't need to have like hardly any gear on them, like gear 5, gear 6. So it's just kind of acquiring the ships. That's all you really need to do with that Zeta mission. It's very low level. It's not like the the Mace Windu challenge and the Akbar challenge. Those are much harder than the Tarkin challenge. So
all right.
Real quick too, as a note to the question, they asked us more of like an earlier faction to climb. I would look towards more of a first order team for earlier game player, because the first order is just as accessible as bounty hunters are early on in the game, and you also get more benefit out of first order with ships, farming and unlocking BB-8. So look towards like a bounty hunter team being as like an additional team, like more of an end game content kind of team, even, because you have to add so much into bounty hunters and invest so much into bounty hunters. It's gonna take away a lot of what you're farming now. So if you're gonna work on bounty hunters in general, stay on target like we've always said, and look at what you're doing now, and then look towards getting up your bounty hunters in between and being the next faction to work on.
All right.
Sorry, one more thing. I gotta say one more thing to that, because you just reminded me. The other of the glory trinity piece is, mods, Zetas, and credits. So that's where the those bounty hunters come in that are going to be able to be used for the credit heist. So that's you got to get those as soon as possible and just start building up and hoarding your credits, because you can't have good mods without credits.
Hey. You know you could actually get 5 bounty hunters and get credits, right? So
yeah, they're all the scoundrels.
Bounty hunters now gives you a way to do really good in the credit heist and in the droid heist, which droids actually count more at the beginning, and also has a triple purpose. They have a special synergy in the Sith raids, and they do well on dark side territory battles. And now you get their special bonus event for shards of crazy characters. So I think we kind of need to rethink a little bit about where we put bounty hunters on the list, because now bounty hunters are good in 5 different areas.
Right.
Well, we can create a list later. Ronnie, get a cookie.
I thought it was going to be 5 hounds to do the credit heist.
I mean, yeah. Oh, it's coming.
That's the way to do it.
All right, next question. This is for Warrior, and the question is from Danilo Papayas, and the question is, I'm decided on my next Zeta. I run a FTP Nightmare team in Arena. Are the Zetas for Darth Nihilus 6-star or Scion 3-star a huge improvement, or should I say for Box or someone entirely different? For example, I have Zeted Finn, Emperor Palpatine, CLS, R2, and Veer so far with my Zeta.
So I heard him using Emperor Palpatine lead in the Arena. Is that correct?
He says I run an FTP Nightmare team in Arena. So yeah, I'm assuming that's what he's saying.
Scion's unique, in my opinion, if you're running him, is necessary.
Oh yes.
If you want to be highly competitive, and then Darth Nihilus is unique isn't necessary unless you're running Emperor Palpatine lead. And if you're running Emperor Palpatine lead, then anything anything that gets you turn meter is necessary, and that will help with turn meter gains. So it gives you. I ran it without the unique, and then I ran it with the unique done, and it was the difference between losing on RNG 50% of the time to another, EP lead versus winning 100% of the time with an EP lead. So that one Zeta made this meta easier for me. So yeah, I would say both Darth Nihilus and Scion are necessary. Plus, they're part of the triumvirate, and that is the future. So those aren't gonna be Zetas, that are bad for the future either.
Yeah, agreed. Excellent. Let's see. Next one, back to the top. Well, no, we'll go to Grande. Grande, this is from Old Joss, and the question is: with a Night Sister zombie, wouldn't higher gear health prolong her taunt? I'm a little confused as to why people leave her at gear 7 or lower.
Hey, so this is why you do a weak zombie. Zombie revives as long as there's another Night Sister there. She is going to revive without the taunt. But you have multiple characters on the Night Sister team that gain something based on the death of either an ally or an enemy. So, a good example of this is you're going to end up with, if you Zeta Daka, Daka gets health. And so every time they sit there and kill zombie, Daka just gets healthier and healthier. Well, Daka is one of your main resurrectors on the team, if not the main resurrector on the team. I believe her res is almost guaranteed. The res where if you put Mother in the lead is not guaranteed.
Mother.
So the second one is that Asajj Ventress, if I'm not mistaken, gains offense stacking until the end of the encounter based on death. And so you could potentially end up with a really tanky Daka and a really stacked offense Asajj Ventress out of the deal based on what you've got going on with different Zetas. That's the reason why the team, and you're artificially inflating those numbers based on the fact that zombie is dying all the time, because certain pieces of the AI target the weakest health pool character.
All right.
I've got a video where my zombie dies 18 times in an arena battle.
Did you win?
And Asajj just AoE'd at the end of it, and that was it.
All right. Mike, next question is for you, and this is from Danilo Papayas. He says, I use Sith Troopers and Scion together. Since Sith Trooper is my auto-taunting, my Scion takes a while to get hit. Since his Zeta only hurts characters that have hit him before, how much sense does this Zeta make?
It's just the fact that you've got an auto-taunt sat next to him, isn't it? It still works. I mean, he's still... It's your choice of secondary tank. Pop in Mr. Beardy in place of him and see the difference there. Or...
Mr. Beardy.
Mr. Beardy.
Well,
yeah, pop him in.
Remember, that Sith Trooper in that lineup is going to be replaced by Traya eventually. And in my case, I actually took him out and put Thrawn in there. Also, TIE Fighter Pilot works very well on offense. And if you have some good enough speed mods to put on Death Trooper, you have a double cooldown increase between Death Trooper and Nihilus. So, and if you do that, then Scion's really the only character that's going to be hit, which get his Held by Hatred up even earlier, and then he comes... Actually, I fought to a draw 1-on-4 today with Scion, which was hilarious. But I took the double tank off. It makes you really hard to kill with the double tank, but I think you can win faster if you put in some of those other characters.
All right. Next question to you, King Felix, is from Evergoo03. With Ships 2.0 coming, which fleet squads are you most excited to run?
I was thinking about it earlier. I'm tempted to try some very high speed lineups, which would probably end up being TIE Fighter Pilot, Poe and the TIE Slicer, just because they, they're crazy fast, and I have the gear pieces on Gear 12 for 2 out of the 3 of those. And then I kind of also just want to do straight First Order just because I like their ships, Special Forces and regular First Order TIE Pilot with the Slicer. I kind of want to see if Galactic Republic can also make a comeback a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then my Geonosians have a lot of work to do, so I don't think I'll be like Warrior and switch over on day one to that. But and if we can ever get a First Order capital ship, that'll be interesting.
All right. Next question to Xylo, and this is from Bing NKC. Question: do we think we're getting more than one new capital ship when rework comes out, and who are you hoping to see?
Yeah, I mean, for a while we've been speculating that Holdo's going to begin their capital ship for the Resistance, the first Resistance capital ship. And then, of course, we'd like to see more Dark Side and more First Order. So, bring Hux into the game and maybe some other, role-playing First Order characters around that to give them a 5th ship too as well to, fill that faction up a little bit more. But we, again, still have to see Hux come to the game. I don't really think that they would release, Holdo's ship, Hux's ship, and the character at the same time. So we'd have to see a cadence starting, with Hux release. And, it doesn't have to have any other tunes around it because they did state that they were only going to be releasing, newer tunes one at a time now. So that kind of puts a dud on what I just said with releasing more tunes next to it. But again, I would like to see Hux. I'd like to see more First Order. A lot of us here in the panel too have some pretty decent First Order teams, and it would just be great to see them, bring a First Order capital ship and a Resistance First Order capital ship too. I would like to see that for sure.
All right, next question to Team Money. This is from Fat Tony 99. Question: I'm getting close to unlocking Hodo, or Hermit Yoda. After unlock, do I keep farming to 7 stars, or switch to unlocking Wampa, or work on getting Gear 12 for my Night Sister team that I run in Arena with my guild event tokens? I recently just hit 85. What do you think, eh?
Oh, I feel your pain. My heart was like, oh, I know the answer. Oh,
would you like a hug, number 2?
But the Night Sisters. So, so for I did the Gear 12 thing when the store opened because it was so exciting and shining and new. But I do recommend that you take Wampa and Hermit Yoda all the way to 7 stars. It is nice to have them both unlocked. It's tough. So this is what I did. I took Yoda to 5 stars. Then I unlocked Wampa, and then I took Hermit Yoda to 7 stars. And now I'm taking Wampa to 7 stars. And I stopped farming gear. Farming gear in the guild event store is akin to farming gear in the ship store when it was there, and it's not a good thing to do. It's not a strategic thing to do, except for those med packs for the Night Sisters. They're super important for them. So yeah, it's a tough call because for their med packs, it just makes such a big difference for those guys. I don't find the Gear 12 stuff makes a huge difference except the multi-tool, the bayonets, and those med packs. I really like those 3 pieces of gear. But I don't know. Wampa and Hermit Yoda are going to make a huge difference in your roster. They're both relatively easy to gear. They'll help with territory wars, and they'll eventually help your guild with the heroic Sith raid a great deal. So you do want to get those guys to 7 stars. So that's my non-answer answer, but it's very tough. But I would say, unless it's a very, very specific for your arena team, which it sounds like it is, I wouldn't farm gear out of the guild events store unless you really need those last 5 Carbantes before territory wars or something like that.
All right. Next question is specifically for you, Warrior, from Grim. He says, question for Warrior. Do you think that IG-88's rework can make droids viable once more under his leadership?
You know, I want to say yes, but the meta, the characters that are being used and have been used over the last 6 to 8 months are becoming more and more and more durable. And IG-88 does have a lot of health steal. If you can get them to gear 12 and stuff, you can get even more health steal. But there are tunes that can one-shot you if you're under 30,000 health and protection. And that character, at best, if you've totally maxed him and you're focused on that, is maybe 40,000. And even then, Han Solo can one-shot that. So I think the day of the tune who's under 40,000 health and protection in the arena is over, unless you have a way of protecting them through stealth and or multiple tanks. So I don't see it happening, but I mean, I'm with you. I would love to see that happen.
All right. Next question, we'll go to Grande Pappy French Tickler Patron. This is from Icebank myself. Question. On Palp, a 16-speed protection cross at 5 stars or a 15-speed 21% potency cross at 4 stars?
On Palpatine?
Yes, on Palpatine.
Is he running Palpatine in a lead position? I'm assuming?
That was not given. It's just on a Palpatine, a 16-speed protection cross 5 dot or a 15-speed 21% potency cross at only 4 dot.
So, Palpatine already gets a bunch of potency from his leader. So I'm going to tell you right now that I don't really that we're not totally looking at it. You know, it's nice to have Palpatine fast. Palpatine gets unique, gets more speed every time he puts shock on. So I don't really feel like necessarily you need a ton of speed on Palpatine, because you can get, I think it's 10% turn meter for every shocked enemy. So I'm going to say we don't really need the speed. Let's go for the durability. It'd be nice to hear what the other stats are on some of those. The one thing that Palpatine is missing is health and protection. That's to make him more durable. You can play the match and get the fill up the little blue bar faster than anybody else by doing it a different way, and you can get the potency other ways. So I would be looking at trying to augment some of the stats that you can't fix by how you play and by the position you put him in.
Okay. All right, next question. Back up to you, Mike. This is from Evergoo03. Anyone have the Sith Triumphant in their shard? If so, how does the squad hold overnight or 24 hours on defense?
No. No, I think there's me and a fellow guildmate. I'd say we're all neck and neck on it. I'm fortunate to not be in one of those shards. Who need to throw this open to whoever has that in their shard.
I haven't
Anyone?
seen it. I have not seen it.
I think there's still only there's a relatively, well, not relatively, there's a low number.
Yeah, like maybe 20,
players.
Maybe 20 are out there.
So the likelihood of it being on your shard is low. At this time, dun dun dun.
But Rex will be the counter.
Mm-hmm. So that meta's coming soon. All right. Last question to you, King Felix. This is from Darth Skywalker, and we'll get to some fun questions. Question: should I put a Zeta on Herbert Yoda for a Jedi team, or Talzin for a Night Sister team? You know what? Let's give this to Finn. Finn, what do you think?
Yeah.
Depends on what he's using the teams for, right? So a Zeta on Hermit Yoda worked really well for the Sith raid. But if your Hermit Yoda isn't 7-star, then the Zeta isn't necessarily worth it. A Talzin, again, can be used in a lot of different places. If you're using her in Arena, then I would definitely put a Zeta on her, especially her unique, and then depending whether or not you're using her in as a leader or not, then maybe her leader, because I'm not sure which one he's looking for. But I think depending on where you're using them, because you don't see Hermit Yoda too much in Arena. You can see Night Sisters, and the Night Sisters are viable at lower stars. So my first inclination is to go with Talzin, because the viability of just Jedi teams right now overall isn't very high. I'm not sure that a Zeta on Hermit Yoda for a Jedi team is going to change much in the fortunes of that team. I think Talzin with her unique Zeta, especially if you're using like an Asajj lead, or if you're putting her in leader with her leader Zeta, can make a difference with how that Night Sister team works, and it'll help you with Arena if you're using her there. It'll help you with territory wars, whether you're using her on offense or defense. The Zeta will help on Talzin. So it depends a little bit on where else you're going to use them. The viability of a Jedi team is just lower. So based on what he said so far, I would say Talzin. Either Zeta, assuming you're committing to Talzin as the lead, either Zeta on Talzin I think is better than Hermit Yoda, just because if you're only using for a Jedi team, I'm not sure that's a good use for it.
All right. So we have some fun questions here. First one is from Oh My God, I Love Bananas. And the question just says, bananas, ? Everybody?
Nope.
T-Money says no.
I'm carb free. I love bananas, but nope, not right now. They're the evil.
But they're really good for you, T-Money.
You need that potassium.
Yeah, especially if you're working out.
Yeah.
I love bananas.
Oh, good Lord. All right, Cone Cobra, question. Can we get a shout out for a Fleet Shard member who had an emergency appendix removal a few days ago? Wishing him a speedy recovery, and that is Silthus, Silthuz. Of course, shout out to you, buddy. Hope you're feeling better. Glad to see they caught it before anything really major happened. So get better soon, man.
I'm hoping it's
emergency appendix surgery I've heard of in 2 days in this game.
Everything comes in threes.
That's insane. That's insane.
I got set. I was in a chat where we got some photos this week of somebody having that operation, an emergency. So I'm guessing it's somebody that a lot of us already know. But I've seen he showed us the following morning's breakfast, which was yogurt with loads of chocolate and stuff on the top of it, and on top of that was a large amount of painkillers. And he was saying best breakfast ever. So if it is him, I think he's on the road to recovery.
All right.
Get well soon, yeah.
Next question from Bing NKC, and this is a question for Warrior. Can Warrior do a shard video? What tools to use and the best way to find your arena fleet?
A video on how to find your fleet arena, like
a shard video, whether it's fleet or PvP.
I mean, yeah, I guess I can make that video, but it's kind of common knowledge that basically everybody stumbles through it. You go to the forums and you type in your top 3 or top 5 or top 10 people and see what people are talking about, because there's a shard chat that's in there. There's a website. It's SWGOH Life, I think, or it's the other one that has leaderboard finder, and you can try and find people on it and stuff. I've helped like 6 people, and I hate doing it because it takes us like a week to figure it out. And I'm like, you figure it out for yourself kind of thing, because it's so much work. Yeah. But it's worth it. I mean, I've helped like I said, I've helped about a half a dozen people find their leaderboard chat. And once they find it, they get in and they start, kind of working with them. And a lot of them kind of want you to prove that you're going to stay in the top 20, because it's kind of pointless to put you in that chat if you're not going to stay there. And then once they do, obviously, so you don't step on their toes, they'll let you in, and things are fine. But it's tough, but there are tools out there. I mean, there's Facebook group, there's the forums, there's Reddit, and then there's also, like I said, a couple of cool websites. One of which I can't remember which one. One of those websites actually has a shard chat finder. I think it's SWGOH life.com or whatever.
All right.
You guys know?
will the update help?
What's that?
Oh,
Yeah.
the update will make it
Yeah.
all new. Yeah, you can now message somebody on your chart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
If you speak the same language, you'll be good to go.
All right. Next question from Oh My God, I Love Bananas. Question for Warrior. Do you not... God. Do you eat bananas while riding your motorcycle? If not, why not?
It's dangerous, I tell you. It's dangerous. I did have a banana this morning, though.
That right?
Oh,
While you're riding your
man.
I
motorcycle,
just want
right?
to say, yesterday I saw a man drinking coffee while driving his motorcycle, and it wasn't one of those like, Honda huge touring glider things. It was like a crotch rocket, and I was like, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna die. Like, don't do that.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Who would take
Hey,
coffee
man.
while driving a motorcycle?
Gotta live free. Gotta live free, Grande.
Real quick too.
Die free.
Yes, Silo.
Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm trying to clear my throat real quick.
And
Bananas.
Xylo has died. Okay, so we're moving on.
He's eating a banana.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. Real quick, for those who don't know, Oh My God, I Love Bananas has his own YouTube channel too, and he's starting to do a video series with Smithy D too as well. They're doing some pretty interesting videos. If you haven't seen that, go check that out.
That's right. And make sure you eat bananas when you do. I'm not reading your
Right,
question,
right.
Mike. I saw that, Mike. I'm not reading this question.
Bad, Mike, bad.
Finn will stroke out. I can't deal with Finn stroking out. I'll leave it to Finn. Finn, do you want to read that question? Finn
just got back. He may not know what he wants to do.
Yeah. So Finn's just like, oh. All right, so that's all the questions we have for today for the Jedi Academy. Thanks to everybody in the chat for being here. If you have more questions, then just jump in our Discord and put your post questions there, and that's what it's there for. That being said, now we're going to allow everybody to pimp their stuff, so we'll just start at the top of the list and work our way down. Mike, where can folks check you out at?
Mike Hunt, SWGOH. Got a channel there. Got the Mythic event and a few other bits, the Bounty Hunter contracts and all my fails. Please pop on by, have a look.
When are we going to get a video of Sweary Daughter going at it?
Yeah, it won't be tonight. Infinity Wars is going to have the pleasure of... I'd hate to have been in that audience because, yeah, they're going to loathe her.
Okay. Xylo, where can folks check you out at?
Yeah, come check me out on YouTube. It says I will take down SWGOH. New happy member of MC2 as well. Thank you very much, and appreciate you guys having me on the Academy, man. It's been a good day.
Yep. And you can also check out Mike and Xylo. They're usually hanging out with us during our lunch stream during the Team Money G, where folks check you out up there in Canada?
Well, today I'll be at Comic-Con in my unicorn dress, so jump on a plane and get to Calgary ASAP.
Hey.
So what am I doing? So I have a couple of secret projects on the go that maybe I'll be ready to announce next week. But secrets. I love being on the Jedi Academy. Thank you, Ranger and Finn and RC crew for having me on here. We also party hard on Saturday nights on the RSG Mature channel. Right. I never know what's going to happen there or who's going to be on. It can be Grim and me and Ranger, or it could be a huge big party with lots of people. So regular on Saturday nights too, and then on Thursday nights at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, the League of Extraordinary Nerf Herders goofs off for anywhere between 2 to 5 hours maybe is our longest running stream, and we have lots of guests on and try to put some it's kind of one of the two really great dense, nutrient-rich game content with my co-host Scuttle Maurice, Grand Admiral Teals, and Darth Bob. Or we goof off and have a good time once every 10 streams or something like that when there's not a lot going on. So, yeah.
All right. And then Warrior, where can folks check you out, my friend?
They can check me out on Highway 6 and 50. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, eating the banana.
So yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Warrior Presents. It's YouTube.com/Warrior Presents, or I have a roster review channel, Warriors Roster Reviews. And yeah, I'm not really on Reddit, so if you try and check me out there, you probably won't find me. But I am on the Facebook channel that has 60,000 people, so that's a pretty cool group of individuals. Tebow for Life. That's an inside thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go to the Facebook page. And yeah, so check me out on Facebook and YouTube.
All right, awesome. And then for us, well, King Felix, how many? What? 14 in a wake up? Where are we at?
Just about. You can check me out back in America in about 2 weeks.
Word.
It's gonna be a long day of traveling, but I will be
worth it.
Be back breathing the fresh, clean air of freedom.
That's right. Then he can come play Battlefront with us and get on the lunch stream. And
hey, I'm probably gonna buy an Xbox One now that the old Star Wars games are backwards compatible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very tempted.
Word. All right, and if you're watching this on the Reality Scoop Gamers. This is our channel. We run the Jedi Academy every Saturday from 10 to about 12 p.m. Eastern. Is when we do the Jedi Academy, where we just answer your questions. Tonight we have the Mature channel on the another channel of ours called RSG Mature, where you can check us out. Where we just, as teammate said, have fun. Have anybody who wants to be on, any VIPs. We just hang out, drink, cut loose, talk about the game, do whatever, have a good time. And then during the week, we have Monday through Friday, we stream from 12 to 1 p.m. We do the lunch stream, where we just kind of take questions from you guys, your roster reviews, hang out with you for an hour, give you something to listen to during the doldrums of the week. Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern is our Star Wars Galaxy Heroes news and update stream, where we break down all the latest and greatest from Star Wars Galaxy Heroes and tell you what it all means. In between, we have a lot of awesome videos that we've been doing. We have the interview with CG Carey that we have put out. All 3 parts are out now, and then we got some more fun stuff coming down the pipe. With that, also we've been doing a lot of Battlefront and some other games that you can check out on the channel, where we kind of hang out and do Battlefront, kick everybody's ass, and take names and have a good time. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the RSG channel. But make sure you guys are liking and subscribing and commenting, not just for this channel, but for all these guys, because they take the time out of their busy schedules to come here and answer your questions. So to show some love back, why don't you go to their channel, subscribe, give them a thumbs up, check out some of their videos. Support them in that way. It helps their channel grow and helps the community grow. It's a win-win. So I think that's it for today. So on behalf of myself and the RSG crew of Dr. Finn and the French Chick Grande Patron, thank you to Mike, King Felix, Xylo, T-Money G, and Warrior for being here. Thank you everybody in the chat for being here as well. Everybody have a great rest of your day. If we don't see you, if not, you know where we'll be. Battlefront will be streamed tonight as well, so stay tuned for that. I'll probably do 4 or 5 hours of Battlefront today, and then lead into the RSG Mature channel. So we'll have lots of streaming for you guys and entertainment. So everybody have a great rest of your day, and we will holler at you later. Take care.